Previously on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock the office down. The office is coming down. Yeah, I don't need it. That was fun. I think I'm gonna like all this. That Oh, there we go. Look at that. There's no longer a big black box there. There's heaps of room there. But it is Australia Day. And I've been here just tearing that down for the past hour and a bit. 2 hours. I've lost track of time. I think I need to go home. So I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna have me some lamb chops, some meat lollipops if you will. We're gonna have a big old steak. Go grab some gas for the barbecue. Go home, enjoy the rest of my Australia Day. And when you're watching this, I'll see you in like 5 seconds. Because I'll just cut to the next day. So see you in about 5 seconds.
Last episode, I said something incredibly silly.
I reckon 6 months time, quote me on this, 6 months time, this is going to be driving around. Give me 6 months, this thing will be done. I guarantee. And I'm putting this in the video to make myself accountable.
And in saying this, it creates one huge issue.
And that issue is that the timeline for the XA has essentially doubled. Because now when I come in here, I have to split my time between the XC and the XA. This has already taken 2.5 years to get to this point to do all this rust repairs, and I said I'd have this done in 6 months. However, I have a solution to this problem.
And that solution is something as simple as changing my mindset about the build. Up until now, the XA Falcon has been something I wanted to make so perfect that it prevented me from making progress in a lot of areas. So we're just going to get these panels welded back onto the car so we can get it prepped for bodywork and paint. Because I've got a shelf full of awesome parts that I really want to get on this car, and I can't put them on if it's just sitting there in epoxy primer.
So with that in mind, we are going to kick it off by getting this Cleveland built and done and finished. I need to get this engine built. The ARP bolts that I was waiting on have just arrived, so we can finally put this engine back together. So finally, this is the episode you've been waiting for, the assembly of the Cleveland. And then once this is done, I can really hammer down on the XA's bodywork and literally just put it back together. Just slap it back together. Because when I start to do the paint for the XC, I want to do the XA at the same time. So I'm going to try and do both cars, do the filler, do the sanding, do the primer, do all that at the exact same time on the same day together. And before I continue with any of the bodywork in the XA, I need to have this Cleveland rebuilt so I can put it in and make sure the firewall clearances are good because I've changed the firewall. Let's get this engine back together, let's get all these parts out, and let's rip into it.
And 5 minutes later, I came across this. That's Plastigauge after I have torqued down the main bearing caps. And as you can see, it's not even crushed a little bit, which means there's way too much clearance there. And I was thinking, what the hell is going on here? But months ago when I bought the bearings, I forgot to pay attention to this writing on the crank that states the big end and the mains are 10 thou under. So, step one, we're totally screwed. I've got the incorrect main bearings, and I have absolutely no idea if I can get 10 thou main bearings anytime soon.
But do not fear, we've fixed the issue. I've just been on the phone, panic calling everyone that I can to try and find 10 thou undersized Cleveland main bearings. Do you know how hard they are to find in this day and age? but I found them and they will be delivered 10 a.m. tomorrow. So remember how at the start of this video I said I really needed to speed run this stuff and basically just get this stuff done as quick as possible? Well, day one, literally task one. Literally, putting the crank in is literally the first thing to do with this engine. I've already had a haircut, so put me in the pond because I'm a big silly goose. So that means I can't do anything until 10 a.m. tomorrow in regards to Cleveland. But that's okay, we can do one other thing, and that is go on a journey. Because I have found the gearbox going behind this. I found a C4 automatic transmission. I'm gonna go pick that up, so we might as well go and do that now. It looks pretty good. It was a really good price. I couldn't turn it down. It comes with a shifter, everything, so let's go there now. Let's go check out the C4 transmission. Come back here, and I guess we'll go from there.
5 minutes later.
We're on our way to go pick up this C4. I don't know what it is about guys and old car parts, but they seem to always live out in the sticks. Driving about 40 minutes inland now to go check out this C4 transmission. Looks like it was in great condition on Marketplace, and it comes with a B&M shifter. So that saves me a couple of $100 down the track. Most people are wanting $1,500 for a C4. He's got this one up for 900 bucks. Comes with the B&M shifter, comes with all the linkages. It's got everything attached to it. Pretty much came straight out of the car, and it looks like it's in fantastic condition. So this is a fantastic deal, and I'm super excited to go check it out. But also an interesting point is when you live out in the sticks and you got a whole bunch of old car parts, what kind of old cars do you even have? It's probably going to be one of those places where there's like, you drive down the driveway and there's like 600 wrecked cars or something like that, and he's been like, oh, I've been keeping this grill here since 1984. Well, I don't know, we'll see how we can get out there. We'll check the C4 out. Hopefully it's as good in real life as it looked online. That was a tongue twister. So I'll speak to you guys afterwards, let you know how I went. That's so cool. Okay, so that was pretty awesome. Big thank you to Andrew for showing me that buggy, even taking me for a lap around the property in it. That was insane. I've never seen anything like that buggy before in my life, and it was street registered too, which is wild. But it's now day 2. I've just picked up the main bearings, the 10th hour undersized main bearings. I've already got 10th hour undersized big end bearings because for some reason I remembered to get those. And now we really have to speed run this engine. I was meant to have this engine done today, and it's still just a block. It's still just a short block. There's no time to waste, so I'm gonna get the C4 out of the ute. We're gonna bring that in, have a little bit of a look, only a little bit, because we have to get onto this engine and just speed run the hell out of that. So without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, like I said, we're speed running this, so we're gonna get through this as quickly as possible. Here's the C4. Looks fantastic, doesn't it? I think he said he just pretty much pulled it out of an XY. It's got everything still attached. Linkages, dipstick tube, cooler lines, all of that's still there. It came, like I said, it came with a B&M Quicksilver shifter. That right there, saving me a couple of $100. It's already set up on the transmission. I don't have to worry about this. This can pretty much go straight in and we're ready to rip. It's got the torque converter and everything in here, so we'll take the flexi plate off, have a look at the torque converter, see if it's anything special, have a look at the input shaft seal, see if there's any input shaft play. But I got this for a steal steel, so I'm happy with whatever I got. It looks to be in fantastic condition. It looks like it was rebuilt at some stage. The gasket still looks kind of new. So the pan's been off within the past 10 years, and they've just hit it with a coat of blue. There's no grease. This doesn't have, I don't think this has done many road miles. Less than a couple hundred road miles, I reckon, are on this box. Maybe even none. It was probably put into the car. He bought it as a project essentially, and it was probably just sitting there. So we could have gotten a steal on this. Let's find out. Yeah, there is no road miles on this box whatsoever. Look at that. That input shaft seal is brand spanking new. That is smooth as. You tell me if this has done any driving. I wouldn't believe it. I don't think that has. But, I mean, geez, even those bolts look brand new. I can't, those bolts were, I think this might be a remanufactured box. But they look like brand new bolts. Right, enough flopping about, we're getting into it. We're gonna break the world record for building a Clevo. We're gonna smash this out, and we're not gonna make any mistakes along the way. Everything's gonna go perfectly, smoothly, and we're gonna get this done today. So cue the music, cue the time lapse, and let's get this done.
So first up, we're cleaning the block because I did leave it overnight, so I want to make sure it's absolutely pristine before putting these new bearings in. We've got the 10 thou under main bearings, we put them in, putting on the caps, and then we're going to torque them up in the correct factory procedure. In steps of 3, I torqued them all the way up to 100, which is the torque setting that ARP give you for their bolts. I then measured the crushed plastic gauge, and it came out to around 30 thousandths of clearance, which is definitely within spec. Next up was the crankshaft end play, and that came in at 0.11 millimeters, which again was within spec. So with this in mind, we could now move on to the pistons. Now when it came to the pistons, I didn't get the ARP bolts in time to have the machine shop fit them to the conrods, so I had to press them in myself as they're the ARP wave lock type. I do not recommend doing this. 100% get your engine builder to fit the ARP bolts to the conrods, because it took me a very long time and it was very stressful to not damage the conrods doing it the way that I did it. Up next was checking the clearance on the piston rings, and they all came in at around 18 thousandths of an inch, and the tolerance is between 10 and 20 thousandths. So again, they were all sweet. And after all that was sorted, it came to putting the piston rings on the pistons and getting them ready to fit into the engine.
Would you believe, another roadblock, because pressing in the ARP bolts require the rods to be resized to the ARP bolts, because they just change the torque, they change everything about it so much, and they go out around. I use the internal micrometer just to measure a couple of the rods to see if they were out around, and they were all out around by around 0.01 of a millimeter, which equates to, I think it's 800 thousandths of an inch. So we're a bit beyond the tolerance there. So I've dropped the rods off to the engine shop to get resized. So now I've got to wait a couple of days for the rods. Not only that, I've just put the roller master gears on and I can't find the cam bolt. I've got this little thing here that has all the bolts and where they go, and another one here, and where it says cam plate, there's no bolt for the cam. It's gone, it's not in there. So maybe I chucked it out thinking I'd get an ARP one. So I guess now I've got to buy an ARP one. And would anyone local have one? No, they don't. I've got to order it online. Not only that, no one local has a degree plate for the cam either. So I've got to order one of those online. Got to wait for the conrods to be resized. Have to wait for the ARP cam bolt to arrive and for a cam degree plate to arrive. I know I can just print off my own and make my own, but I'd rather have a decent quality one. So it's like there. So this is part 1 of the engine build. So that means part 2, we should have everything done, because I'd obviously have organized my life by then and got everything sorted out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, the journey that was trying to get the Clevo done in record time, which has now turned into record slow time. Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're so close to the 1,000 subscribers mark. Tell your friends, let's try and hit that 1K mark, and I'll give away, when we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will give away some kind words, because obviously everything is going into this. I can't Can't afford to give away anything other than my sincere gratitude. But enough of that. Next episode, we'll be finishing off the Clevo. Get out there, enjoy your projects, and I'll see you guys next time.